Welcome to the part 2 of this tutorial, and this is the sewing part. Here I'll be teaching you how to sew the cowl piece together. So the first thing you want to do, you want to unpin your patterns and you pin the front and back shoulder line together. So that's the back. I'm just going ahead to remove the pins. I'll repeat the same thing for the front as well. Make sure that the right side of the back is facing you. Now this is the front part of the front cowl pattern, and if you notice that we have notched the facing part, before you place this on the back pattern, make sure that you take this to your sewing machine and weave the facing of this dress. This is how you're going to put it. Go ahead and weave it. You can see the way I'm placing it. After you've weaved it, you're going to place it like the way you see me doing in the video. After weaving the facing part of this top, you're going to pin the side seam and the shoulder line together. Make sure that the right side of the two patterns are facing each other. Once I was done with this, I took this to the sewing machine and stitched them using the 1-inch seam allowance that I added on the side seam, and on the shoulder I added 0.5-inch seam allowance. Can you see what we have here? So now I'm going to show you how to stitch this together. Even without stitching, you can see the cowl neck design. So this was when I was stitching the piece together. And after I was done stitching this piece together, I took it to the weaving machine and weaved the seam. I gave it a nice press, and this is what we have at the moment. The next thing we're going to do from here is going to face the sleeve of this dress. Now I'm just going to unpin the pattern, and this is what we have. We're going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch the side seam of the sleeve. For the cuff, you are going to add a stay or collar stay on that part. I've added the collar stay, the hard stay. Now I'm just going to pin the other part on it, take it to the sewing machine and stitch the side seam and the hem of this cuff. After we are done, we'll bring it back for you guys to see. I am back, and this is what it looked like after sewing the side seam, and this is what you're going to have. At the hem of this sleeve, I run a loose stitch to gather up that part. The gather part is going to be sewn into the curve that we are going to add at the bottom of this sleeve. I'm just trying to pull the loose stitch so that I will have a runch around that place, like a gather. You runch these parts together. Now we are done. I'm going to measure my curve, which is 10 inches. Make sure that everything you gather is 10 inches. Now you're going to start pinning this part of the sleeve to the curve. See the way I'm attaching this to it. I first pin the wrong side to one right side of the curve. Then I'm going to flip it over to the right side and top stitch on it. That's how you're going to do this. I'm just pinning it together. So once I was done, this is what the sleeve look like. Now you're going to install the sleeve on the dress. Now this is what it looked like after I was done. You can see how neat the curve is. The next thing you want to do, you want to sew it on the cowl top that we have on ground. It is time to fix the collar, install the collar on the shirt. Now remember that we cut out this pattern, we cut a pair each for each pattern. This is the collar stand. It has 2 pieces and the collar itself has 2 pieces. Now you need the collar stay to get your collar. Now I'm going to use the pattern to cut out the collar stay. If you notice the pattern do not have any seam allowance, please don't add seam allowance to this pattern. Please just cut it the way it is. Cut it the way it is. Don't add any seam allowance at all. After cutting out the collar stand and stay, this is what you're going to have at the end of the day. Now you're going to bring your piece, one of the piece out for the collar. You're going to place it on it like this, iron it to activate the gum on the collar. Then at the and for the collar stand, you're going to repeat the same thing, but at the end part you are going to roll over the ½ inch that we have at the bottom edge over the collar and iron it. You can use an gun to finish that part of it, like so. You iron it on it. Use an gun to help you ease your stress. Now we are back. This is what we have. So the next thing you want to do, you want to take the other piece and place it on it. This is what you should have at the end of the day. You can see our collar. I use an gum to gum that part together so that it won't be flipping around when you want to sew. So I've gone to the sewing machine and stop stitch on that part. You can see I top stitch on it. You can see my thread on that part that we fold over. Now the next thing you want to do, you want to take the other piece, place it on it like this, and you are going to sew the sides. You are going to sew the side, the two sides. Now you're going to bring the collar piece as well. You're going to sew all round it except for the end part. You're going to sew the side and the upper part alone. Next, you're going to take it to the sewing machine. You stitch it down and give it a nice press. So once we are done, I'll bring it back for you guys to see. This is what your collar should be looking like. I went ahead to top stitch on it. See the way I top stitch on it down to the other end, like so. Now you're going to bring this collar. I stitched the side of this collar. I've stitched the side. Now you're going to place the collar in between the collar stand. You can see there's an opening there. Now you're going to place the collar like so in between it. You're going to pin it down, take it to the sewing machine, and you're going to stitch that part of the collar together with the collar stand. That means you are stitching the collar stand and the collar itself together. So you're going to place it in between it. You're going to pin. I've pinned it. You're going to repeat the same thing for the other end so that they will match. Okay, this is it. Okay, now the next thing you want to do, you want to take it to your sewing machine and stitch them together. After stitching them together, this is what it should look like. Then you're going to trim off the excess. We don't need it anymore. You're going to trim it up to 2/8 of an inch, and that's what you see me doing. I don't want to fast forward this part because I want you guys to get everything that we did here to arrive at that result that you actually seen at the beginning of the video. Now just trim off the excess, and once you are done trimming off the excess, you are going to trim off this part slantly like so. You're going to flip the collar inside out, and then you're going to give it a nice press. And once you are done, we are done, I'm going to bring it back for you guys to see. And this is what it looks like. What it actually needs now is a nice press. This is our collar. Can you see what it looks like? I gave it a nice press, and this is what it is looking like. Now I just went ahead to trim the remaining half inches that we have on the collar stand. So we have 2/8 seam allowance. I did the same thing for the back neckline of this tutorial. So what you should add there is 0.25 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to bring the collar here. Remember that we took the reading of the neckline, front neckline. Now you're going to apply the reading on this cowl details here. I'm notching the midpoints. Now pin the shoulder point to shoulder point, and you're going to measure the front neckline on the cowl part of this dress, of this top. So bring them together. Please make sure you use a fabric pen or chalk, something that can easily erase from the fabric once you mark. Don't use pencil or biro to do this. So once I measure our 4.5 inches that the front neckline at, and I'm going to start pinning the collar from the right side of this tutorial. You start pinning the collar from the right side. The reason why you are pinning from the right side, because you are going to flip it over to the wrong side and top stitch on it. And this is what it will look like After you're done pinning, now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and stitch the neckline of the dress. Now I'm back, I've done stitching it. So the next thing you want to do from this point, you want to bring the collar over like this and place it on the seam allowance. You conceal the seam allowance inside the collar. So that's what I'm doing. Once we are done concealing the seam allowance, we are going to take this to this machine and top stitch on it. That's that for the sewing part of this dress. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumb up, like and share my video, and don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Have a nice day and bye.